Okay guys, well here we go and we're back. Sorry for the long delay, but we've been busy planting up our hemp farm, and today I want to talk about arguably one of my favorite topics, hemp flower. Hemp flowers. So today we'll be answering the question exactly what is hemp flower. I know that might be a little bit late in the game for some of you, but for others, I realize that you guys aren't even 100% sure on exactly what hemp flower is, what it does, what it's all about. You just heard about it, and maybe you think it's just like old school industrial hemp, and that's only partly true. So today's hemp flower really is not old school industrial hemp. That stuff used to grow really pole straight and was used mostly for the fiber and for the seeds. And the buds themselves on the female plants were super airy, so you would really not want to be smoking industrial hemp flower. I realize it gets confusing because today they still do call industrial hemp flower, but those growing it industrially are kind of growing something different. And what they're growing is really a selectively bred cannabis plant, which is super low in THC and super high in CBD. And yes, that has been crossed with old school industrial hemp. But at this point, it really is more cannabis than old school industrial hemp. It really is just cannabis with the THC bred out of it for the most part. And that is why it will, at this point, look, smell, and taste just like cannabis, with one major exception. It's not going to get you high like cannabis. It will get you relaxed. It will chill you out. You will taste the terpenes in there, so it'll have some of that effect as well. But it's not going to get you super stoned. You know, you're not going to lose your car keys in the freezer like I did one time. You're not going to get super paranoid. In fact, the CBD in hemp flower mitigates the effects of THC, which is what does cause you to sometimes get kind of paranoid. So the CBD will mitigate those effects. So if you are someone that's prone to high anxiety, a lot of stress, maybe sometimes you get paranoia, well, CBD can definitely help. It can also help you out if you have problems sleeping, because it can be used greatly as a sleep aid. It's also great for pain relief. So if you have muscle pains and spasms, or you have sore joints and sore knees and elbows from sports injuries and overexertion, well, CBD flower is going to be a great choice for you. Myself, I have a background in growing craft cannabis, and upon moving out here to the West Coast, I'm from the East Coast, we actually started a hemp farm. When we first moved out here, they were freezing the cannabis licenses, so we weren't able to start a micro grow cannabis farm like we wanted to, so we converted to CBD flower. That ended up being, for us, quite a blessing in disguise due to the fact that CBD flower is nationally legal. You know, we can ship it all over 50 states. We ship it to other countries where CBD flower is legal, and we know that it has a lot of healing benefits for many, many people. It has a wider range. And so for me, it really is just cannabis with really, really low amounts of THC. It grows just like cannabis. It smells just like cannabis. So for me as the grower, I get to have all the same fun that I did in growing cannabis and growing CBD flower. But the difference is we don't have canopy limits with hemp, so we can grow a lot more of it. We have a little bit less regulation than the cannabis growers have. And like I said, we can ship this thing, so it's nationally legal. So some of you may have already seen hemp buds before, and industrial hemp buds. And I do want to point out that they do come in various different grades. At this point, there are people growing indoor hemp, and that stuff will look just as good as any fire indoor bud. It'll look just as good as cookies buds, you know, crazily covered in crystals. Smells great, tastes great. But then there's also people who kind of grow it more agriculturally. That's what I was speaking about before with industrial hemp. So they'll grow it just like an agricultural crop. They'll grow it, you know, anywhere from 20 to even over 100 acres. And that type of hemp flower is really on a lower grade. You know, you can't care for the plants as well when you have 100 acres. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of plants. So it's not going to be craft care. With that said, you know, they can still grow a pretty decent bud so long as it's organic. Many of these farms, unfortunately, are not organic, so they may be spraying with pesticide. You know, they may be giving it non-organic nutrients, which will affect the flavor. Here at Dreamland Organics, we do grow in a much more craft style. We have a very small farm, relatively speaking, and I do grow in the manner that I was kind of trained in, which is craft cannabis. So we're going to grow a lot fewer plants. We're going to care for them a lot more, feeding them compost teas, growing them all organically, of course. We're going to hand trim them, which is something that these bigger farms just can't afford to do. You know, when you have 200,000 pounds, it would take quite some time to get that all trimmed and a lot of money. So a lot of people are confused out there. You know, sometimes they'll come across our website and they say, hey, your prices are really high. I've, you know, got a whole pound for $100 before. Well, you know, what you really got was probably biomass, something that was machined, trimmed, and that was from one of these industrial hemp farms. You know, we consider ourselves a craft hemp farm, and like I said, that would be very similar to craft cannabis. Only difference being our bud is not going to get you high. And you know, likewise, you know, we're not growing indoors; we're growing outdoors, and we will be growing some greenhouse very soon. So while some of our buds can look like indoor buds and be very crystally, you know, sometimes they will look like a good outdoor bud, and that's not a bad thing. It just might not have the same bag appeal as indoor bud. But I wanted to break down some of those misconceptions for you, and I'm going to be showing you some more close-ups in the cutaways of these buds that I have here. But basically, I'll show you we have some big-ass mason jars, is what I like to technically call them. And this is what we cure our buds in. So we glass jar cure our bud, which is pretty rare for a hemp farm. Most people will keep them in bins, and you know, we do keep them in bins up to a certain point, but once we hand trim them, we do put them in jars, and we have a lot of these jars. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. So our whole downstairs is filled with glass jars of various sizes, but we love these big ones here because they'll hold about a ½ pound of hemp flower, and that's super convenient, and you know, it's very easy to store. So this is where we store our buds after we trim them, and after that they'll either be put in a smaller glass jar for sale or into a Mylar bag. And oh man, I wish you could smell this one. This is our Eden strain, and the fragrance is very funky, very skunky, almost like the chronic cannabis strain with a little bit of cheese mixed in there, but very delicious. So at Dreamland Organics, we've been growing this hemp flower now for 4 years. We'd like to think that we're getting pretty good at it. Prior to that, myself, I was growing cannabis for over 20 years, so I do know my way around a cannabis plant and how to grow and cure some good flower. And anyone who's curious about some hemp flower, we are offering a free 2-gram sample. So I'll leave a link down in the description, but all you have to do is click on that, and all we ask is that you pay the shipping. It'll be $3 or $4, and you get 2 free grams of our hemp flower to try it out for yourself. Now, if you haven't tried hemp flower, who wants to try hemp flower? Well, a lot of our customers are actually ex-cannabis smokers. Maybe now, due to different situations in their life, they have a family, their work situation, they may not be able to smoke cannabis, and CBD flower offers a great alternative. While you won't get super stoned, you will still get relaxed, you will still be able to taste the terpenes, you can still unwind after a long day, and it's a great choice for those people who kind of have transitioned out of cannabis smoking, but they still kind of want to have some of that leisure time fun. I would say CBD flower is a great choice for you. Who else would it be great for? I would say athletes. You know, if you do have nagging aches and pains, I myself used to box, and you know, was constantly in some sort of pain and soreness, and CBD flower and CBD in general is really great for that. The benefit of CBD flower and smoking it is, you know, compared to a tincture or taking any capsule form, you're going to get that CBD relief, you know, almost instantaneously. So if you're having, you know, some sore pains and muscles, You can smoke a CBD flower joint, and within seconds you'll be feeling relief. Also, again, like I mentioned before, if you have issues with insomnia or sleeping at night, CBD flower can definitely help you have a good night's sleep. And depending on the strain, on the flip side, CBD flower can also help you focus for your work tasks. If you're working from home and you need to focus on a task, sativa strains of CBD flower will be great for focusing your brain and just getting those tasks done, helping you dial in, helping to mitigate any ruminations that you have and just loss of focus. So I think though I touched on the main aspects of what CBD hemp flower is. Now I'm going to go through and I'll show you some of the strains that we offer. This strain right here is called Dream Fuel, and this is an indica dominant hemp strain. This is probably one you wouldn't necessarily want to smoke during the day. It is a little bit on the sleepy side, although depending on your tolerance you could smoke it during the daytime. And that's in addition to another indica dominant strain that we have here, which is Kimbo Kush. And again, these are going to be great for pain relief, great for as a sleep aid, great for lowering anxiety. If you've come home and you had kind of a frenetic day at work, then I would definitely recommend those two strains. Now, if you're the work from home type, or you're on the go and on the road and you need to kind of stay focused, I would recommend this Eden hemp flower. This is a sativa dominant flower, and this one will give you a bit of energy. It'll keep you very focused and definitely uplift your mood. So these are some of the strains that we offer here. You can also check out dreamlandorganics.com to see the rest of them. I think we have about 8 to 10 strains going, right now. And we'll be adding more on this season. And we just look forward to answering any questions you have about hemp flower. Drop them down in the comments. We love to talk hemp flower. We do this all day. And right now we do have a special going on as well. We do have smalls of our Green Dream strain going for only $50. So, if you want to grab a nice ounce of some, this is also sativa dominant hemp strain with a really sweet papaya, gassy type of taste, well, then we recommend Green Dream. You can get those on sale right now for $50 for the ounce. So this is me, Dreamland Day, the lead grower, here at Dreamland Organics, wrapping this one up. Just wanted to touch base with you guys. Wanted to clear up some misconceptions about hemp flower and maybe school some of you guys who are super new to it. Maybe you've been seeing it at gas stations and stores and even at dispensaries, and you're like, what is hemp flower exactly? So once again, to reiterate, in my opinion, it is just cannabis with low THC. Ours is going to be hand trimmed. It's going to look like real THC buds. So, you can trick your friends and let them smoke a little bit. They probably won't know the difference until they notice, hey, I'm not super stoned right now, but I am relaxed and chill. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe they'll convert to CBD flower. But if you want to know anything more about CBD flower, just drop some comments. Email us at dreamlandorganics.com. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions. And like we like to say, smoke organic, put some respect on your lungs. Until next time, Dreamland Day, peace.